there! Today we're going to talk about stillness. Now, it's really trendy these days to talk about mindfulness and meditation and blah blah blah, and you might have feelings about that, and I don't know, but I would like to answer a few questions about why stillness helps you manage your relationship with sugar and work with your sugar addiction. And it's all about letter R, which is recording awareness and observing what's happening with curiosity. It's about being the detective instead of the judge. And meditation, in many forms, or being still, is an opportunity for you to see what your mind is doing in a curious manner. This is not so that you can beat yourself up or tell your mind that it's being a bad mind. It's so that you can start to understand, just like a horse trainer is working with a horse, they might start to see what the behaviors of that horse are, the habits of the horse, and really get to know that horse. And essentially, you are the horse trainer and your mind is the horse. Now, this is not my analogy. It's actually from Turning the Mind into an Ally, which is an excellent book that I highly recommend. It's in the resources. But it's essentially about very basic meditation practice and why it's a functional thing in making your mind not run off. Now, in a form of addiction, like sugar addiction, you're basically doing what you didn't mean to do. So you're not being able to feel intentional about your actions. This is why turning the mind into an ally is such a big deal. It enables you to essentially know, just like the horse trainer knows the horse and eventually works with the horse until they stay on the trail, it enables you to do the same thing with your mind. So we're not going to get really fancy or do 10 minutes of meditation today, because I only asked for 10 minutes of your time. So we're going to stick to a pretty small and short introduction to a stillness that I'm going to ask you to practice with me each day as part of this. We're going to fold it in because it's going to enable you to start recognizing your mind. The more you do that, the more you open up that gap between stimulus and response and enable yourself to have a minute to make a different decision, or at least be aware of the decision you're making. So let's go ahead and try. First of all, it's all just about being still and breathing air. When you get up in the morning, and if it's anything like me, you get up and you feel like you jump on the rat wheel and you just run and run and run and run. You take orders all day, you manage the job, you manage the boss, you manage the kids, you manage the spouse or the partner or the loneliness, you manage all of your emotions, all the difficulty, and then you jump off the wheel at the end of the day and crash into bed, perhaps with some zoning out first. Then you get up in the morning and you start again. And there's no time in our very fast-paced society to just be still. It's not necessarily even just relaxing. We actually do sometimes relax. Maybe we chill out, we go in front of the TV, we just veg. But being still is a little bit different because you're still being aware and alert of what's happening. So we're going to talk a little bit about just practicing being aware of what's happening. So if you'll sit with me for just a second, really, really upright and straight. You're not going to lean back or support yourself on anything. You're going to feel like there's a string coming out of the top of your head that's lifting you up and kind of keeping you uplifted and tall. Rest your hands on your knees really quickly, and we're going to try this fun little exercise. Essentially, in this story, your mind again is the wild horse and you're the horse trainer. And your mind likes to run all over the place. Even just a very short period. It's remarkable where it runs. And your goal is not to say, oh, mind, quit running, or to beat your horse mind, or to do anything with it except to just say, aha, I see that it's doing that, and then just bring it back to one anchor point, which in this case is your breath. And this exercise is just the 10 breath exercise. It's really great. It's actually really helpful. And you know, from when I was really little, people would say, oh, just take 10 breaths before you act, and you'll make much wiser decisions. And that sounds like a great thought, but again, if we don't have any space between stimulus and response, you don't even know that you had a chance to take 10 breaths till it's too late. So doing this exercise every day enables you to start building that space. So let's talk a little bit about how you go about it. You sit up straight, you put your hands on your knees, you close your eyes, and you're going to do just 10 breaths. And you're going to only count when you breathe out. So essentially, before you breathe out, you're essentially just waiting for the next breath. As you breathe in, you're waiting. As you breathe out, you're counting. So close your eyes and let's do this together. Here we go. You're going to breathe in, breathe out, 1. Breathe in, 2. Breathe in, 3. Breathe in, 4. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, how boring was that? We had to sit there for 10 whole seconds and it felt like 1,000. In fact, it might have been more than 10. But the fact is, this is super hard. And if you're anything like me, after about 1 minute, or one count, even 2, I'll be off and running. My horse is off and running into what it needed to do, or any other random number of thoughts. But here's the point. That's great. There's nothing to say that you were a bad horse, that you ran off on those 10 seconds. A lot of times I'll start over. If I ran off the path, then I'll have to start back at 1. And it'll take me a long time to get through all 10 without losing track or forgetting to count. Sometimes I'll be at like 8 and I won't remember getting to 8. I will be off on a tangent. So some part of my brain kept counting while I was doing it. But here's the thing. You're not doing it just so you can perform some act of going 10 seconds without losing the count or breathing 10 breaths. First of all, you probably notice your body is down regulating. It's going to feel calmer. Secondly, you probably noticed that your mind did stuff. It was, I'm bored, or this is irritating, or what does this have to do with sugar, or I'm worried about this thing that just happened and it was really annoying, or what if this other problem doesn't get resolved? So it's fears about the past or the future, or even good things, wondering about how the day is going to go. And what you're observing as a detective instead of a judge is what's going on? What's my horse doing? Oh, my horse is thinking about the day. Oh, my horse was thinking about the past. Oh, my horse was thinking about my boredom. Oh, my horse was judging. My horse was judging me. My horse was judging the video. My horse was judging how my body felt. And so you can really start noticing, what does my horse do? And when you do that, you become more aware. You open up that space. So this is kind of a longer one than normal, but I want you to really understand that sitting still and breathing air is actually a really key way to start noticing and observing and becoming friends with your own mind. And that will enable you to open that gap up a little bit wider and see how you respond to things. It's actually very exciting if you can manage not to judge yourself and hate yourself for it. So I'm going to keep asking you for only your 10 minutes a day, but I do encourage you to step into the idea of staying with your breath for 10 seconds at the end of each time. And I will sometimes remind you. I will sometimes just put it in the notes, but I really want you to be able to spend some time with yourself each day, down-regulating your body, breathing your breath, being still, and starting to watch your mind. It's really fascinating. Our mind is a very, very mysterious thing. So, happy hunting.